converts people from just flirting with the idea of what you have to offer and actually purchasing from you what you have to offer does 4 very distinct things. Those 4 very distinct things really need to be present in order for a lead magnet to convert people from top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel to eventually doing what you want them to do, which is hopefully getting out their credit card and working with you. A lead magnet should not just be something that you throw up on your website. No one wants to join your newsletter list. No one wants to hear about your latest, happenings. Okay? This is not a church news bulletin. We are not doing that in this video. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I have used to create high converting lead magnets in my own business and helping my clients to do the same. So without further ado, I have some slides prepared for you today. So let's actually just dive right into those so we can get started and you can go and create your first or next high converting lead magnet. So let's talk about what the 4 components are, and they are, simply put, a problem and outcome, the gap that you create, and the next step that you want someone to take once they have consumed and implemented your lead magnet. So today we're going to talk about all 4 of these in depth. I have examples lined up for you and everything. So without further ado, a lead magnet that converts does these 4 things. Number 1, your audience must find the content of the lead magnet valuable, and not just what's inside. That's number 2. There must be actual value inside. But the offer itself must be presented in a way that is valuable and enticing and intriguing and provokes curiosity for the person downloading it. Can't be something boring. We're not doing boring here, okay? It must solve a problem for the person who is downloading it, and it must offer next steps. Otherwise, what the hell are you putting a lead magnet into the field for? If you don't want them to go further into your funnel, okay, but why even have a lead magnet in the first place? Now, caveat here, I do want to say this before we move on. I would rather you create a really high converting lead magnet and work on the next steps and then update your lead magnet rather than having it all done in the first place. Not everyone is going to be in a place where they can create that next step or even be ready for that next step just yet. And the next step I'm going to talk about throughout. I'm going to walk you through all 4 of these steps. But I would rather you have the lead magnet and it's getting people on your email list and you are nurturing them rather than waiting until you have the next step ready for them to take. Okay? So big caveat there. Now, let's move on. Before you get started, because of course, I like to do prep work, I like to prepare you, these are 3 things that you really need to do, or at least do a couple of them. Number 1, look at what your audience is buying. This is really true for people who are unsure of what kind of lead magnet to create. What are people already buying from your competitors in the market? When people in my market were creating lead magnets and selling offers, they were selling things like Pinterest strategies. That was obviously a middle to bottom of the funnel offer. So what I did was I went straight for the jugular and I created a Pinterest strategy guide and I gave it all away. This is everything that you need to create a Pinterest strategy for your business. People have downloaded this guide, created their own strategy, and come back to me months later and said, Heather, what you put in your guide is so invaluable. I was able to do X, Y, and Z. Here are the results. Now I need to know how to take it to the next level. That's what we want. So figure out what people in your market are buying. This is really true if you do not know what to create for a lead magnet. Number 2, if you have an audience, talk to them. Communicate with them. Ask them what they want. You're watching this video. If you've been part of this community in the past or for years, you know that I'm routinely asking my community what they want to learn from me. What kind of videos do you want to watch? When new subscribers find me and they say, hey, new here, so thankful for this, I reply, what more do you want to learn? How can I help you further? Because those interactions within my community, when I'm asking them what they want from me, give me so much invaluable insight into the brains of my audience. Don't be afraid to ask, what do you need? If you need to do some market research, do some market research. If you don't have an audience, and I still do this and I have an audience, but if you do not have an audience that you can tap into, read comments on other YouTube channels, on other blogs, in Reddit, on Quora, answer the public, whatever that place is called. Look at reviews on competitor products or content. And I want you to not just look at the good stuff, but the negative. What are people saying in the comments that's negative? So an example here I have on the slide are the critical reviews inside of a cookbook created by one of my favorite food bloggers, Tegan at Half Baked Harvest. This person says it's too unhealthy, blah, blah, blah. Read the critical reviews. Sometimes the critical reviews can actually tell you things like it was formatted poorly, images were too grainy, it was too simple, it didn't include what you actually said it was going to include. Read the negative comments because those can oftentimes give you a lot of insight into how to make your thing better. Read the good stuff too, but also look for questions and the confusion that might come through those questions and infuse that into the offer that you're creating to help answer the person on the other end. Here's an offer for you. I still do this today, even though I know and I have a defined customer journey for my audience, what they need. I still go and do market research. So this is just a really good way for you to get a feel for what to create if you don't have an audience or if you are also just curious as to what other people are doing. Now, this is actually, I had this in the lineup as the fourth thing, but I moved it to number 1. And I want to walk you through this concept that my colleague Jana and I have just, talked about for years through our Clubhouse stint. We have a full Clubhouse club on that app. It was very popular. It did really well during the heyday of the pandemic and Clubhouse. And this was something that we were always reminding each other of in our private chat when we would create rooms, because people want to come and learn for free. But we also don't give everything away for free, because at what point does it end, right? You can watch this entire YouTube channel and put together a Pinterest strategy, but in what order? How do you troubleshoot if it's not working? There are certain things that I create very intentionally and very transparently for you. But at the end of the day, I have a family to feed because I am the breadwinner in my household. My husband does not work right now, even though he has his reserve job. He's going to school full time on his GI Bill. So I have to create a gap in order to get people excited to work with me, and I think you should too. So the gap is simple. It's the gap between your free content or your lead magnet and the thing that people are going to pay you for. So I actually create lead magnets with the intention of someone paying me with their email address and direct connection with them in their inbox. It is not simply something that I have available in my mind for free in my business, even though all it takes is an email address exchange. So it's really this gap between your free content and your lead magnet. Now, I want to talk about a little caveat with this. If you are an e-commerce shop seller and you are watching this might be a little bit more difficult for you as an e-com shop. And sometimes you just need to connect the pain of what's happening for your audience to something that's going to solve that pain for them. And oftentimes for e-com, that means giving them a coupon code or, urgency to buy. So this video is pretty much dedicated and outlined and created for those service providers, digital product sellers, content creators. But if you are e-com, watch along and hopefully you get some insights into this as well. So the lead magnet can also, or the gap can also be between the lead magnet and the paid product. So let's dive into the problem. So we need to determine the problem that someone is going to have before we create a lead magnet that will be a solution. We don't want to just create solutions and hunt for problems. That's not what we want to do here. We actually want to address real problems that people have in their businesses and in their lives. So for example, I have 3 examples and I have 3 like solutions and things down the line for you as well. A really clear example is if someone like myself, a business owner, doesn't have a bookkeeping system to track revenue and expenses properly. Or I can't eat gluten, but I also don't have hours to spend online looking for recipes and making shopping lists. This is actually true for me, except swap out the word gluten for dairy. I can't eat dairy, and I severely hate meal planning these days. The third example is someone that has decision fatigue when it comes to getting dressed for a C-suite corporate job. She doesn't have thousands of dollars to spend. He doesn't have thousands of dollars to spend on suits, but they still need to look professional for their C-suite job, right? All right, determine the outcome. For example, the bookkeeping example, they will have a bookkeeping system set up and be able to track the revenue and income with a simple spreadsheet that we give them for free. A spreadsheet is a great start. I can tell you as a former bookkeeper, recovering bookkeeper myself, please do not go to your bookkeeper with a spreadsheet. Please do not go to your bookkeeper with a notebook with just your receipts and expenses tracked in it. Don't do that. They will hate you forever. The next example is giving somebody a recipe book with shopping lists for each recipe. That way they can quickly put together the meals and shop for the items at the grocery store without having to scroll for hours on either Pinterest or Google. Last example is you create a dressing guide and a shopping list or a buying guide for outfits that would be professional based on a certain style. Okay? That helps them to dress professionally. So those are the outcomes. They will have a bookkeeping system. They will have more hours back in their day because they will have meals that are already planned and shopping lists that are already created for them. Or they will be able to dress professionally based on your style guide that you very quickly put together. Maybe they already have these outfits in their closet. They just don't know how to piece them together. Or maybe they need to actually go and buy a few of these pieces. Okay, moving on. What are the next steps? So normally the gap is in here and the next steps comes last, but we're minding the gap in the beginning. So the next steps here are we are going to move them from this free spreadsheet that we're going to give them into a fully functional bookkeeping software to automate and digitize their accounting efforts. Better reporting and tracking makes better business owners. The second example is we're going to move from this free cookbook that we gave them and shopping list to a recipe app that you actually sell and you charge $7.99, $10.99 a month for, whatever it is. Or we're going to move them from just using outfit guides to hiring you for styling or maybe joining a styling program that you host. Okay, so you can see how we can move them further down the funnel. Now here comes the gap. The gap in the bookkeeping example is the actual bookkeeping tool and how to run it properly. So that's the gap we create. The lead magnet is the spreadsheet, and the paid products are either your services or your products that you sell. Courses, memberships, and then services are obviously, options like full management of bookkeeping or VIP days to help get them set up and running. And then maybe you even offer follow-up calls for quarterly or even biannual checkups, making sure that everything is getting tracked properly. Okay, lead magnets that work. I want to walk you through a few examples of my own, and then I'm going to send you off and you are going to go create your very own lead magnet. So lead magnets that work in my business and why they work. And I actually want to, I'll pause this and go pull them up so you can see what they look like. But 2 very distinct lead magnets that work in my business. This is my OG. This was the second lead magnet I created in my business, and it has been by far the most popular. It is because I went straight for the jugular and I gave it all away. All right? It's a strategy guide and it's a workflow. It's exactly what someone needs to do in their business to create a Pinterest strategy, to start to see some results, to get them excited, and then it gives them a next step. The next step for me in my business is getting them to join my membership. If they're not quite ready for that level of support and training, then they can also purchase my Pinterest system, which is offered in the sales sequence. Now, the next one is not, I don't really have a next step for them in this one, but I do offer my membership. And these are Pinterest prompts for ChatGPT to speed up your Pinterest marketing workflow. This is obviously not generally attracting newbies to my audience. This is attracting people that have probably already downloaded this guide. Now they're kind of mid-funnel and they're interested in speeding things up and they download this guide. This is a swipe file of Pinterest ChatGPT prompts I've created. I created another set of prompts and added it to this delivery email. So there's actually 2 in that delivery email now. And I have then created a nurture sequence behind that email to bring people back to my AI content, to bring people back to awareness that my membership exists and that I can help them in a deeper way. Now, let me pull up my lead magnet examples so I can actually show you what's inside. All right, so I actually have a whole folder full of lead magnets in my business where I keep them really nice and organized. So I've got the ChatGPT one, I have an automation guide, I have free templates for ClickUp. This is a product, it's not for free. I have free pin templates available, and obviously my strategy guide and my new lead magnet freebie. My strategy guide is the OG though. This is the thing that brings the majority of people into my business. I actually just recently updated this for 2023, so that title is out of date. But I walk you through, kind of introduce you to myself and how I got started. I give you the seeds for long-term growth. And then I give you a reference guide. And I update this regularly to the new videos that I film. So if I film an update to these videos, I go in and embed the new ones. So anyone who downloads it going forward will have updated content. But I give you a list of things that you should make pins for, a list of videos that you can reference for all of those things. And then I give you a roadmap to actually building your Pinterest or your Pinterest strategy. So foundation, keyword strategy, image strategy, scheduling, and analytics. I walk you through all of those. I walk you through a keyword strategy and what should be included, an image strategy and how that works, scheduling tools. Do you really need to pay for it or can you use a free one? I walk you through reading through your analytics, and then I give you a workflow for new posts and products, a weekly workflow and a monthly workflow of what you need to look at. And then the next steps come in. Join my membership for one-on-one support or group support with your Pinterest strategy. So these are my next steps. And then it's just an end sheet. So with that being said, I created a lead magnet workbook for this exact video so I could walk you through what it looks like to create a high converting lead magnet. So I created a lead magnet for the lead magnet video. Of course I did. Here's what's inside. Examples of lead magnets, their problems, outcomes, and next steps. Lead magnet ideas, I think there are like 22 or 24 that I have made a list for you. This exact process that I walked you through in this video. What is the problem? What are the outcomes? What are the next steps that you need to create? What's the gap that you need to create? And I also wrote a swipe email for you at the very end that you can literally swipe, customize, and put it right into your system. Not only that, but I give you a full checklist of how to launch your own lead magnet and all the steps that you need to take. That way you're not left guessing of how to create a lead magnet that delivers, how to connect everything, what everything happens. Here, I'll just show you the checklist. Create your lead magnet, connect your CRM, connect your sequence to your CRM. There's a lot of little steps in here that a lot of people forget to do. And then they launch their lead magnet out to the public and their lead magnet doesn't actually get delivered to their email subscribers. Ask me how I know. Okay? Ask me how I know. I've done it, all right? If I've done it, you'll do it. So I want to make sure your bases are covered. So I give you a full checklist of what to do to at least get started. And that's it. Head to heatherfarris.com/lead-magnet-workbook to grab your free lead magnet workbook. There's no upsell on the back of this. It is literally just a workbook right now. I'll be working on what comes next. Obviously, what comes next is my membership. In fact, to give you a sneak peek of what's coming. I don't usually like to do this because it dates my videos, but in October of 2023, we are creating your first lead magnet inside of my membership. So if you want to come and join the membership and create your first lead magnet with us, including the emails that go behind it, all the pages, all of the images, all of the social media, come and join us, pinprofitacademy.com, and you will have that training. If you're watching this video and it's a year after I published it, that training is still live in the membership. Go watch it. Now that you know what to do to create your next or first high converting lead magnet, make sure you head on over here and download the workbook. It's free. I created this lead magnet for this video to show you exactly what you need to do. It's very meta, but go grab it. It is super valuable, and I promise not to spam you with emails on the back end. That's it. I'll see you next time.